Hello everyone, my name is Georgette del Carmen Sierra Castro. Today I'm going to explain the passive voice in English. This is a very important grammar structure that we use in many situations, especially in formal English, writing, and even is every conversation. In this presentation, I will explain what the passive voice is, its structure, and I will give you some example to understand it better. The passive voice is used when we want to focus on the action, not on the person who performs the action. In many situations, the person who does the action is not important, or sometimes we don't even know who did it. For example, is in news report or formal writing, we often use the passive voice because the action is more important than the subject. So, instead of saying how does something, we focus on what happens. Now, let's look at the structure of the passive voice. The structure is subject plus the verb to be plus the past participle of the main verb. It is very important to use the correct form of the verb to be depending on the tenses. For example, in the present we use is or are, and in past we use was or were. The past participle is the third form of the verbs like writing, will, or made. For example, Larry is raining. Now let's compare the active and passive voice. In the active voice, we say she raining a letter. Here, the subject she is important because she does the action. In the passive voice, we say a letter is raining. Now, the focus changes to letter, not the persons. Sometimes we can include the person used by for example, a letter is raining by her, but it's not always necessary. Example two. Okay, let's see another example. This time in the past, active they bought the house in the 2020. Passive. The house was bought in 2020. Here we use was because the sentence is in the past. Again, the focus is on the a house, not on the people. How will a bully it? This structure is very common when we talk about events, story, or things that happens in the past. We use the passive voice in different situations. First, when the action is the more important than the person. Second, we when don't know how did the action treat when we want to seconds more formal. For example, in the academic reading or reports, for example, this project was complete. Sounds more formal than saying how did it. Okay. In conclusion, the passive voice is very useful structure in English. It held was focused on the action incentive of the persons, and is commonly used the formal context. When we understand the structure, is becomes easy so to use use the in different things. I hope this explaining help you understand the passive voice better. Thank you so much. Bye.